Buddy, hope you're doing well. It's been a little while. Bit of a really bizarre video today for you. What's new, I guess. First of all, I'd just like to say thanks very much for everybody that wrote under in the comment section of my last video, and sent us messages. And in particular, there was a girl, a lady from Germany who left me a couple of voice messages on the podcast kind of link. So yeah, really appreciate that message and all the messages. And yeah, I just needed a few weeks there to kind of reflect and pray and ask and wonder and listen. The listening was probably the hardest bit, but yeah, I'm at a place now where, well, in a nutshell, I was asking God for like an unequivocal sign as to, how to proceed. And thankfully, mercifully, because it's in alignment with what He's always put in my heart anyway. But yeah, I feel free now to proceed and to proceed down the married life path, let's say. I didn't want to make videos while I was unsure with that and wrestling with that, if you know what I mean, because I didn't want to be hypocritical and didn't want to feel hypocritical. So it was a tough few weeks actually. Just wrestling. I suppose the term is wrestling with God. But yeah, listen. I suppose it comes with the territory of kind of learning more and heading down this road type thing. But anyway, pretty happy and glad to be back. So I just kind of know now that I need to press on in different ways, step up in different ways and things like this. But anyway, yeah, so there's that. Thanks very much. And especially to the gent who is currently a seminarian, who mentioned that like that sort of thing you should keep private to yourself anyway. I kind of got that. So sorry for not responding individually to comments and things like this, but just know if you wrote under the comments or left a comment that I read them all and I considered them all, and they all helped. So thanks. But yeah, right. This is completely random, and I didn't think I was going to make a video about this, and the whole thing's unusual, but you'll sort of maybe understand towards the end why I'm making a video about it. Basically, because I saw someone else making a video about it and feel like maybe I'm meant to share it. But anyway, okay, this is going to sound so nuts. I had a dream about the cryptocurrency, basically, right? And I was about to say that I don't dream much, but apparently everyone dreams like every night. It's just whether or not you remember them. But I would say I don't remember dreams that often. But I had this kind of vivid one. It was a bit different from like an ordinary dream. It was more like a zap type thing. And there's a specific, and this is, I suppose, where I'll completely lose the interest of any females who may be listening to this, because I've noticed in the past that when I make faith uploads, the analytics show me that it's like roughly 50-50 in terms of like males and females watching it. But as soon as there's a finance, like any economy related or finance video that I do, the analytics show me that there's basically like no females watch it. So if you've got this far and you're a woman and there's like a husband or some man in your life who might be more interested in the financial side of things, maybe get him to watch the rest of the video. But basically, anyway, there's a cryptocurrency called Electroneum, and I'll just tell you what happened in the dream first of all. So it was a bit like it was just a computer screen in like the 80s, maybe early 90s, where it's kind of like green numbers and text. It's just like that black kind of command prompt, almost black screen with just like green digits populating across. If I think of like a movie like GoldenEye or something in the 90s, I can imagine like just a wee guy typing and this like green text coming along. It was like that. And it just very vividly, clearly popped up Electroneum or Electroneum, don't know how it's pronounced. And then there was a price, and the price was 21 cents. And then there was a bit of a pause, and then actually what happened was there was a street name that popped up, the street name close to where I live. So that's probably not relevant for you, but so basically the significance of Electroneum and why I knew about it before, it was actually a cryptocurrency that I held a good size of it about 3 years ago, and I held it for 2 years. Now, long story short, what happened with me with it, about a year ago, it was May of 2020 actually. Basically, it had halved from what I bought it at in, say, March of 2020, and then by May of 2020, it basically got back to break even, and I sold it, and that was the last time I held any cryptocurrency. And the thing is, from I sold it, about I don't know, a handful of weeks later, it was worth 10 times more than what it was worth when I sold it. So whatever amount that I had, if I just held it for a few more weeks, it would have been worth 10 times more. So I was so disgusted with that situation that I purposely just haven't looked at the price for in the region of 15 months now. But I had this dream like 3 weeks ago. And it was bizarre, because I hadn't thought about it. It wasn't in my mind anytime recently or anything like this. And then after that, I was like, flip, I may as well just look at the price now and see the situation. Long story short, I sold it at 0.4 cents, and it got as high as 4 cents, so 10 times more. But it's since fallen by 85%, roughly, to 0.6 cents, so only slightly more than what I actually sold it at. So I'll actually do a screen share and show you the kind of, I'll show you the charts, because it actually ties in completely with like any margin of safety type criterion that I would have for investing anyway, which is unusual in itself. And then secondly, I'll show you just really roughly how you can acquire it if you would like to. But let me think. So yeah, basically why I'm making a video about this is and this is the thing that's really bizarre, because I did invest in it myself after having this dream thing. But I searched a few nights ago, I just typed in Electroneum to YouTube, and there was one of the first things that popped up was a guy who has a YouTube channel, just under 10,000 subscribers, called Christopher. Seems like a nice man. And he basically, his channel is called Jesus is Lord. And he has several videos that he's released saying that he has had dreams from God. He's saying he has had dreams from Jesus, basically saying invest in Electroneum. So I was like, hang on, what? Because obviously I had this dream, like I've held this previously. So, I understood it. I understood how to invest it and all these sort of things, but I didn't think that I would need to share it or anything like that. I didn't even necessarily know that it was any more than just a dream type thing, although it was an unusual situation. So I thought, yeah, maybe there's obviously something here. But the fact that I just type in Electroneum and then this guy has videos saying, I have had dreams from Jesus, saying buy Electroneum. So I was like, wow. So long story short, it's currently 0.6 cents, like dollars. So $0.006. And in my dream, I saw 21 cents. So that's effectively 30 times higher than the current price. So if you invested roughly $333, if it got to that 21 cents target, that'd be your $333 leading to $10,000. If you invested $33,000, it would be $1 million at those numbers. But this guy Christopher in his dream said that what he saw is from its current price going to 30 cents. So I saw it going to 21 cents. He saw it going to 30 cents. But then he saw it going back down to half a cent. So slightly lower than what it's currently at. And then he saw its long-term target going to $51, which I don't even know how many zeros there are in that kind of multiplication. But just because I saw him making that video and the kind of like ridiculous similarities there and stuff, I just figured I needed to make a video anyway, so why not share it? So yeah, really random. I hope everyone's well. I'm going to jump into the screen share here just to show you quick chart breakdown of Electroneum, even though it shouldn't be a chart related thing if you're looking at this kind of prophetic notion. And then secondly, I'll just show you, yeah, again, how to roughly how to acquire it. But if you've never got cryptocurrency before, it's something that like will take you some time probably to kind of figure out how to get it. Let me think if there's anything else. Just lastly, I'll just say that it all sort of makes sense in a weird way. You know, there's obviously the financial markets are so insidious and they're being intentionally destroyed, in my view, in different ways at the moment. Time wise, I'm surprised that like markets haven't crashed yet, but it's because the stock markets have been kind of reaching their targets at a very slow pace and been moving very slowly. The Dow Jones have been considered, you know, I've been looking at the major target for end of the world crash as being Dow Jones hitting 40,000. It's just breaking all-time highs at around 35,000 at the moment, so it'll probably be quite soon, but there's probably still going to be some final euphoria now. Just to kind of like suck in everybody, especially with so much talk about hyperinflation and things like this, before they kind of look. The idea is that these markets don't tank until everyone's in, until every ordinary person's in. Most people are in to some or other degree already, but you know, they want to get you fully sucked in. So there's a lot of talk that banks could go under. Banks are almost intentionally being put in a position where they're going to go under. Many people would argue. There's talk of potential things like confiscation of precious metals. There's talk of cyber attacks and things like this, which are going to ultimately wipe balances of cryptocurrency and things like this. Potentially, there's talk of like basically every single way that you can be done in financially. It looks like they're doing it. They're basically allowing people to have 100% mortgages in different places anyway, which is just getting you completely exposed. You know, it's a nice thing to have temporarily if you have a small repayment to make, but you're ultimately at the mercy of things like interest rates then, because if they go up too high, your repayments are going to be unaffordable. In my view, what we're being pushed towards at the moment is what they want is to have a complete necessity and universal basic income and then push us in that direction. You know, say there is a massive stock market crash and then pensions as a result will completely capitulate. All people who are relying on their pensions will be completely relying on government intervention, probably in the form it looks like of universal basic income, because that's being set up all around the world at the moment. Yeah, then if there is a massive crash to stock markets, there's likely at some stage of the next few years going to be a massive capitulation of house market prices. And you know, if you've got a 90 or above % mortgage on a house that's worth substantially less than what you paid for it and that what you owe in terms of a mortgage, and you know, for whatever reason you're probably going to be reliant on universal basic income as a result of like one, inflation probably going to come. Two, there's talk of food supply chains being destroyed through different ways, and as a result the supply of food will go down, so the demand for food and prices of food will go up. So like kind of basically ordinary everyday cost of living will probably go really high. It's like a cluster truck of challenges potentially coming in terms of the economy, socioeconomic issues, food related issues, housing related issues, leading to calls for more tax, more government intervention, and more of this nanny state globalization-y type stuff, you know, that's like terrible, and it's been terrible, and we've seen all this kind of state intervention to be terrible over the last 15 months, and yeah, looks like we're going to head more and more in that direction. So perhaps these sort of signs or whatever, in terms of something to invest in, which has got potential for like seismic upward movement, may actually just be a vehicle for helping out. Like if this guy's got a religious channel and he's having these dreams and I'm sort of having these dreams, and realistically, if I do this video now, a very small amount of people are going to see the video, and then a very small amount of people who see the video are actually going to invest in it. Perhaps God's just figuring out this way of putting resources in the hands of people that he wants to have them, and then for them to do good in whatever way he wants through that. It's mental. It's mental for me as well, but that's where I'm at. So I just thought I'd share that. I'll stop rambling and I'll jump into the screen share now. All right. Alrighty, so screen recorder up and running. Apologies, I should say, for Earl or Quail making all sorts of noise. I kind of feel really bad for everyone that lives around us, because we've got this one Quail, and he just doesn't shut up at any hour of the day. And I know that he's made some noises in the last few minutes, so that's what it is, if you hear it. But alrighty, so what we have here is WorldCoin Index. It basically shows you if you're not familiar with it, the current price of basically every cryptocurrency, or there are some that actually aren't on the WorldCoin Index site, but they're typically much smaller, lesser known ones that aren't really established yet. So it's ranked in terms of market capitalization, so basically total value at the current market price of all the coins in circulation. So as you can see, Bitcoin's first, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Tether, Cardano, Ripple, and so on and so forth. But again, we're looking at Electroneum, so it's kind of I don't even know what you call it, but it's 3-letter reference is ETN. So here it is anyway. Just to give you an idea of, so this is how it's performed in the last 6 months. It's gone from basically 5 cents in February up as high as 40 cents in the end of March. And it's gone all the way back down to 6 cents as of now. So, sorry, that's wrong. It's 0.6 cents. It's gone from 0.5 cents, half cent, up to 4 cents in March, and then it's gone all the way back down to 0.6 cents now. So now that's the last 6 months. If you look at the last 1 year, yeah, not much different. But if you look at it in terms of all, so since it was released on the 30th of October 2017, here's where we're at. So its all-time high was like 20 cents, something like that, and it's less than 1 cent now. So its fall from peak to trough was like literally 99%, which is unheard of. And this project is kind of growing in all sorts of ways that you would want to see a company or project grow in general. They're pretty much like the only or the most established UK based cryptocurrency. What they're basically doing in a nutshell is providing banking services to the unbanked. So they're really focusing on Africa and South America and places like this, through utilizing Electroneum as a payment mechanism for things like airtime, things like this. But anyway, I'm not here to pitch a business idea for you. I'm here to tell you about a dream. I know how mad that is. It's mad for me as well. So it is what it is. The current market capitalization, the current value of all Electroneum currently in existence is 110 million. So if you imagine it was something like 30 times higher at its all-time high, which is like the region of 3 billion or something like that. Actually, I can probably see that somewhere. Historical. Oh, that just shows you prices. But yeah, in the region of 3 billion at one stage, and now it's worth 100 million. So the swings in cryptocurrency are insane. But anyway, if we just jump in quickly to this is the price, this is the trading view chart the traders would use to do technical analysis on the price of assets, including cryptocurrency. Each one of these green or red candles represents 1 week, and it's just showing you the price. So here it shows you as far back as like just July 2019. So this is, I held this for 2 years up to like here, sold it around here for 0.4 cents, and then literally a week later it got as high as 1 cent, which is pretty sickening. But it subsequently kind of recovered or corrected a bit and then went sideways for like 6 months. And then it flew from half a cent to 4 cents, which is what? 8 times or something like that. Like an 800% increase in the matter of a few weeks. But it's subsequently done this massive correction, and that's the kind of like crazy ironic thing. Don't know if ironic's the right word, but you know, I didn't look at this price from here. And you know, I knew that there was a massive bull run going on in cryptocurrency with altcoins in general. So I just knew that, you know, Electroneum would be performing really well. But I only had this dream in the last few weeks. And, you know, it did this like a crazy run and then this utter capitulation. And had I had that dream, say, here, you know, a few months earlier or something, I probably would have invested at a really bad time. But now it's at a stage where things have corrected so heavily, over 85% from its kind of interim temporary recent top, that, you know, if you're using, again, Benjamin Graham's criterion for shrewd investment, this thing has fallen by over 85% in a very small period of time, which in itself creates margin of safety and to a really high degree, strong degree. The one thing which this guy Christopher mentioned on his video that was really worthwhile, and something that I've always thought about as well, is I've thought often about more recently especially, is that with all this talk of things like cyber attacks, you want to have any cryptocurrency that you have well stored. So, you know, a lot of people just hold their crypto on exchanges, and that's not as safe as using an offline wallet, a cold wallet as they're called. So you can actually sign up for the Electroneum app. You can probably store it there. Or if you prefer to do a paper wallet, if you know more about this sort of thing, you can do that as well. I actually don't know that much about it, but it's worth doing your own investigation work there if this is something that you want to invest in. So yeah, this is the price of Electroneum in relation to the dollar. This is the price of Electroneum in relation to Bitcoin, and this just gives you an idea of how much the thing has fallen. This goes back as far as Jan 2018 type thing. So it was up like look at where we are now. You can't even see it. I'm having to filter this loads just to show you how much this thing has capitulated. So you're buying this thing cheap as chips, effectively. And in theory, any asset could go to zero, but there's all sorts of things showing us that it's probably not going to happen. So how you can generally buy cryptocurrency like Electroneum is you typically have to buy something like Bitcoin first on what I suppose you would regard as a primary exchange. Probably Coinbase is like the most well-known one that there is. And then what you do is, so you deposit your fiat currency, you deposit either your sterling or your dollars, whatever it may be, euros. You then use them to buy, say, for example, Bitcoin. And then what you do is you send your Bitcoin to a secondary exchange that offers you the capacity to buy Electroneum. Now, there aren't that many exchanges that offer you that. The one that I use at the moment is called Huobi. I think they're based in Singapore, which are a pretty much the most free market economy, I think, in the world today. So if there is a place that's safe in terms of, you know, no crazy new regulations coming in type thing to say that you're not allowed to hold crypto like China have done in the past, I would say that a Singapore-based platform are probably up there in terms of the safety stakes. You can also use KuCoin. So these are just examples, but that's the idea. You buy your Bitcoin or your Ethereum or something like that initially with your ordinary currency, and then you transfer that sort of major cryptocurrency to these smaller exchanges. And then on these exchanges, you can then buy Electroneum. I'm currently, shouldn't even say this, but I'm currently holding my Electroneum on Huobi on exchange, which is vulnerable, you know, and you don't want to hold something, especially if it's, you know, an amount of money that's significant to you for too long on an exchange. I'll need to figure out a way of storing it more securely. It's just that sometimes with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, you know, there's more options in terms of ways to secure them safely. With lesser known ones like Electroneum that aren't as well established, there's less there are less ways of securely storing them in cold wallets, offline wallets, things like this. But you can, and you can just do a bit of due diligence there to figure out the best way. I reckon I'll probably end up using the Electroneum app, their kind of official wallet as such. They've got pretty stringent KYC hoops that you have to jump through apparently, but in a way that's probably a good thing, and possibly that's why they're going to be adopted, and possibly that why there's going to be this crazy price appreciation. Obviously I should say before, this is not financial advice because it's a dream, but that's where we are. I think that's pretty much everything covered. Sorry this is a much longer video than I thought it was going to be, but at least we're back. Hopefully you got something from this, and if you're going to buy some Electroneum, let me know. If it works out, thank God, not me. And if it doesn't, it was Shaggy would say it wasn't me. I shouldn't be referring to him probably in this channel, but anyway, back at it. Much love. God bless. Keep the faith.